Hi, welcome to Beverly Hills View. I'm Karla Gordy Bristol, and today I have a beautiful guest. She's a very talented singer and actress, Miss Freda Payne. Many of you know her hit song Band of Gold and Bring the Boys Home, and many others. She is so talented and a great entertainer, and I'm so happy to have her here with us today. Hello, Freda.
Hi,
How
Karla.
are you? My blue sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
We're coordinated.
We are very coordinated
well
today.
coordinated today,
We love the
yeah.
color blue, and it just so happens coincidentally that we both wore blue today. And then on top of it, the Dodgers just made it into the World Series. So I think it all comes together,
great?
huh?
Yeah, I was celebrating this morning. Celebrate good times.
Uh-oh.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on,
yeah.
Dodgers.
They did it. Maybe you should go sing now during the World Series. I think we should
Oh,
have you
God,
there.
that would be a real privilege.
Wouldn't that be great?
I have sung the national anthem. This was years ago, here in L.A.
Yes.
And that was always a real thrill.
Oh, you can belt that one.
Yeah.
I know it. I'd love to. Call Magic Johnson. Tell him to get you out there.
Well, hey,
he
he knows me.
He does know you.
He and Cookie.
I think they need to, get you on the show. And congratulations, you just recently came back from Vegas by getting a Black Music Award.
Yeah, Black Music Awards in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And then this was last year. I got it was the American Music Guild Award in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then I got a Lifetime Achievement Award for an organization called Giving Back right here in LA.
Yes, I was there for that when we supported you.
Yeah, you sure were.
Yeah.
And then in St. Louis, Missouri, the Urban League awarded me with a Lifetime Achievement Award along with gospel singer Yolanda Adams.
Oh, sure. Wow.
And that was back like about April the 29th.
How nice.
And then I was inducted into the Rhythm and Blues
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame in Detroit,
That's a big one. That's a big one.
Hey, our hometown.
Hometown, Detroit. We're Detroit girls, right?
Right.
I love it. Oh, that's great. How does it feel when so many people want to give you these great honors, especially a Lifetime Achievement?
Well, it just, first of all, it's sort of sobering because it lets me know that I've really done a lot of stuff. I've done all of that, not only in the recording industry and the cabaret business, but on stage, theatrically, and musically, and all different genres, as an actress and as a singer, mainly as a singer.
Right.
But God has been good to me, and I feel really blessed because when I think about my life and how everything kind of unfolded, I say to myself, you know what? I have to make a confession. I never went to college. And I kind of regret it, but then again, I don't, because I realized that I had a destiny and I had a road and I had to continue to follow that road.
Right. That's right.
And I did.
Yeah. When you have a talent and you're passionate about it, you come into something, just stick with it.
Right. Okay, so I could, if I had a second wish, I would go back and maybe go to law school or something like that, because I discovered I really needed that kind of advice, and knowledge. But it all works out.
It does. It
in
does.
the long
You've done
run.
very well, and the fact you still are a phenomenal entertainer. You're not just a singer. There's a big difference to me in a singer and an entertainer. You give a show. That's the thing. People leave really full, from that experience.
Well, I've always wanted to be a little bit more than just what people expect me to be. I've always, not just to do my, let's say, latest hit record or something like that, which the public, most of the people that come to see me, they want to hear those old records.
Those classics, they want to hear them.
They say, well, aren't you going to sing Band of Gold?
Yes, right.
And I'm saying, well, my God, I've done an hour and 20 minutes, and I can't leave the stage until I come back and do that encore, Band of Gold, and then again, and then also Bring the Boys Home.
Bring the Boys Home. I mean, you got some hits that people know.
Yeah, but back in the 70s in my cabaret act, I used to do things like Carousel, the Jacques Brel song, Jacques Brel is alive. It's from Jacques Brel is alive and well and living in Paris.
Oh.
And I used to do stuff that people wouldn't expect me to do, kind of like off the cuff, kind of like. It's a way of educating your audience to what you can do, and also opening up their minds and their knowledge of music as well.
Yeah, well, music is a combination of course, the sound, the voice, and then that performance.
Right.
And you have this very graceful, elegant style. You're very beautiful. You're known to have very sexy, way of singing and moving on stage drives the men crazy.
Oh, well.
But
well, listen.
Make all the women want to go to the gym.
That's the old school part of me, you know, because when I came up in the business, the women that I looked up to and admired, I was a fan of Lena Horne. Lena, because first of all, she was beautiful.
Yeah.
And she wore these nice tight gowns, you know, with the
very sexy.
Yeah, very sexy without overdoing it.
Right. Classy sexy.
Classy.
As I call it. Yeah.
Classy. So, and Diane Carroll. So I looked at how they dressed, and I tried to emulate that. I mean, of course, I probably couldn't afford to spend the kind of money that they spent on their gowns, but I did the best I could with what I had to work with.
Okay.
Like for instance, if somebody, I had a lady back in, this was still in Detroit, I had a lady who was a friend of my mother's at church, and she was a seamstress, and she would make a gown for me, you know, make it nice and fit it, and then I would go to a fabric store and I would buy like crystals and appliques, and I would put them on my gown, you know, and
you
sew
wanted
them
to be
on.
like Lena Horne and all these
Yeah, I
others.
wanted to be graceful and charming, and then of course Ella Fitzgerald.
Oh goodness.
You know, she was a singer of all singers.
That's right.
She was one of the best,
and
there were
graceful.
many best. There were many great singers.
Greats.
You know, Carmen McRae, Sarah Vaughan. Oh my God!
And you were watching all of these in your young years.
And then my Uncle Johnny. This was when I'm talking about. I was 4 and 5 years old. Uncle Johnny, and we're going back. This was in the 40s.
Oh.
You know, late 40s, of course.
Okay.
And Uncle Johnny had classical records, which was a little unusual for you know, African American man.
Yeah.
But he had jazz records. He had Rachmaninoff, Tchaikovsky, Bach, and he would play it. And also he would play Duke Ellington, you know, Black and Tan, Fantasy, and A Train, and all those songs. And then he had some Lionel Hampton. And
you paid attention to all this.
I would get up to the speaker, you know, because they had records back then, the ones that broke. And I would put my ear up to the speaker and just listen. And then of course my mother, she started, my sister and I, Sherry and I, taking piano lessons privately. We had a lady, her name was Ruth Ann Johnson, and she would come to the house like every Tuesday, once a week, and she would give us piano lessons.
At what age were you starting?
I was like, I think I was like about 6 or 7.
Okay.
You know, and then Sherry was 2 years my junior. So we had our piano lessons, and that's what actually led me into singing, because I would go downtown to the music store. They had a music store where, you know, to buy. That's where we would buy the books for the piano lessons, the Mathis and the Schubert books.
The
for
sheet
our
music.
lessons.
So you would read. You read piano lessons. Okay, so you knew how to read music. You were taught all that.
Yeah, I really was taught that in high school. In school, because now I think they've eliminated. That's why I hate that they've eliminated some of the music courses in public school, because I learned a lot in middle school and high school. And back to the music stores, I would buy music for my lessons, and then I would look at the other stuff, and I would say, "Oh, Gershwin, oh, Rodgers and Hart. Let me get that book," you know, and my mother would give me an allowance, and I would spend that allowance on buying a music book, a Rodgers and Hart music book. And then after that, I would just, you know, that's how I started. You know, I was able to read, so I would start teaching myself a lot of these standards.
How nice. Now, were you also singing as you were focused more on the playing?
I was more in the playing. I didn't really start singing out in public until I was about 12.
Okay. Now, Sherry Payne, your sister, who later joined the Supremes.
Right, she became a Supreme.
She was the one who sang more in the family, right?
She sang more. Sherry was the gregarious, outgoing, you know, the little girl when you go to somebody's house and they have a little girl, and the kids come out and say, "Can we entertain you? Can we sing for you?" And Sherry was that.
She was the one that go up there.
She was the one, and she would sing her song, and then she says, "You want to hear another one?" And I would never. I was.
You stayed away at that point.
I was so shy. I was painfully shy.
Ooh.
I was shy. I wouldn't do that. I had to be coaxed, and even then, I would stand behind a door and say, "Okay, now you can't look at me."
Oh,
you know,
when you sing.
Yeah, but my piano teacher, ironically, how it all happened, she was preparing for the I was 12 at the time, and she was preparing for the forthcoming piano recital. And she said, Freda, I want to test your voice because I'm putting together a 6-person ensemble group to sing one of the songs at the piano recital. And she tested my voice, and she said, Freda, you have a lovely voice. I want you to do a solo. And so I did my solo, and also I sang in the group, and then I did the solo. And then after that, my mother's friends started. They were aghast. They said, we couldn't believe it. We always thought Sherry was the one that was the singer in the family. They said, well, Freda's good too, you know, and they started inviting me to sing at their banquets and teas and all that stuff. And then I started to enter talent contests. And then when I was 13, I entered this talent contest in Detroit. It was called Ed McKenzie's Dance Hour. And it was like Dick Clark American Bandstand. I'm sure
so it was big.
I'm sure your mother, you know, Iris would know about that. And they had, it was, you know, these basically mostly, it was on Channel 4, NBC, and they would feature all the latest artists in town who were appearing in nightclubs in Detroit at the time. And so you had different people like the Four Freshmen, Pat Boone, people like that.
Yeah, a lot of local groups that became big.
Della Reese.
Oh, goodness.
Then the early beginning of her career. And so I won the talent contest, and that day that I won, Sammy Davis Jr. was the celebrity guest. And we took a picture together. As a matter of fact, oh God, I should have brought it.
Oh, you have the picture.
It's an 8
I'd
by
love
10
to show
black
that.
and white. And it's me and Sammy together, and I'm holding my trophy, and I'm 13.
Oh my goodness.
And I was taller than him. But
that's
anyway,
a great moment.
And so
How
I continued
wonderful.
to, you know, enter little talent
So
contest.
you weren't shy anymore.
I wasn't shy
You
anymore.
we broke through that. Yeah, you were ready now.
And then by the time I turned 14, that's when your uncle, Barry Gordy Jr., kind of, he scouted me out, you know, and he was interested in working with me, and he wrote 3 songs for me. We recorded them. There was no Motown.
Yeah,
and this was even
early.
pre-Tamla.
Tamla Records.
And Gordy. And he wrote 3 songs, recorded them at United Sound. And after that, he wanted to, you know, sign me and all like that for a management contract.
Now, didn't Duke Ellington sign you as well?
Duke Ellington, I auditioned for Duke Ellington, and he played for me, and he said he would like to hear me sing with the band. He played for me privately.
Okay.
You know, this was in his hotel suite, because my mother was with me. But he listened to me, and he said, "You know what, young lady, you remind me of Lena Horne." And that I was so thrilled.
Because you looked up to her, so
compliment.
Yeah.
He said, "But I want to hear you sing with the band." And he said, "We're leaving in the morning on the bus." He said, "But if your mother or somebody can drive you or bring you to Pittsburgh at the Holiday House," he says, I would love to bring you up and have you sing with the band." So that did happen.
Your mother said, okay, you had a great mom. She was right there with you.
She was there. She supported me.
Okay.
So we drove to Pittsburgh, and sure enough, he brought me up, and I sang a couple of songs, and I think it was I Got It Bad and That Ain't Good, and I think Mood Indigo, you know.
And you were like 17?
I was 17.
17 years old.
I was 17. He then mailed a contract.
Right after that.
To the house, and we wound up bickering over the contract because we had a friend who was our neighbor. His name was Alan Early Jr., and he lived right down this, like a block away, and he was my parents. He and my parents were good friends. Okay. And so Alan read the contract, my mother read the contract, and we said, well, you know what, 10 years is a little too long. You're 17. This should not exceed past your 21st birthday. So things went a little haywire there, so I never did sign with Duke Ellington, but he did want me.
That's good.
And he wound up, wait, I'll tell you, the irony is that he finally got me in a very unusual way, and that is years later, you know, like 10, 12, 15 years later, I got to star in Duke Ellington's musical, Duke Ellington, Sophisticated Lady.
Yes.
Yeah, of course he was gone by then. He was gone. He died in the 70s. And I starred, I did 7 different companies of Sophisticated Ladies.
Fantastic. Oh, that was great.
Yeah, starring with Harold Nicholas. One was Harold Nicholas, Paula Kelly, and like
so many
touring all
greats,
over the
yeah.
country.
I'm sure that was a great experience, and
Oh, it
to
was
do it for someone
fabulous.
that you spent that personal time with years before.
It was.
I'm sure that
It was the
was special.
irony was that when I was on stage, when I'm on stage, the beginning of the second act, it opens with in a sentimental mood, and I walk on stage in this white satin gown. It's and it has sleeves in it.
Oh,
And
that
it's
kind of
dripping with white ostrich feathers.
Oh, goodness.
And and of course the wig, the long flowing wig. And I'm like, I walk on stage, and behind me is a backdrop of Duke Ellington in a high hat. And I look around and I look at him and I say to myself silently, well, you finally got me.
Right. He got you. Yeah. Better late than never. You're there. Oh, my goodness. What great memories that you had with these amazing artists and talents that are just legends.
Yeah.
And now you yourself have gone on to become a legend in your own right.
Yeah. It's been a wonderful road. Sometimes a little harrowing when I look back on it, but when I think about it, it wasn't bad at all. I was having fun. Of course, there's some things that I wish I could have done a little differently. I think we all have our little regrets here and there.
Right.
But
Now, Pearl Bailey as well. I wanted to, before we go out, I want to talk a little bit about Pearl Bailey.
Pearl Bailey. I did so. All this happened when I was 17. I had just graduated. I graduated from Central High when I was 16, and that was like the June. And then by the fall, like September, October, no, Duke Ellington and Pearl Bailey all happened all within the same period of time. A friend of it was Mercer. I think it was Alan Early Jr. At a cocktail party, and he met Pearl Bailey's road manager. His name was Bob Bailey. Bob Bailey resides in Las Vegas. I swear to God, I don't know if he's still with us or not, but he, bless his heart, he was a wonderful man.
Wow.
He and his wife, Ann Bailey was in the chorus as a chorine. He was the road manager, and I auditioned for him, and then I went to an official audition at the theater, and they had me audition to be a dancer and a singer, because one of the background singers, left the group, left the tour. She was touring.
Right.
And I won. I got hired to be a background singer, and I also got hired to be a dancer. But they were gonna. This was for like later on, so that never materialized. But I went on the road with Pearl Bailey as her background singer.
How nice. And I know there's a little story too about a hat that you wore that was custom made in Beverly Hills, I believe.
Oh yeah, she ordered these hats. She was a classy lady in her own way, She had ordered these hats, and she said, "Now, these hats are custom made for my show, and they were made by a hat maker in Beverly Hills. What's the name for the hat?
I don't know.
Anyway, I know it, but I can't think of it right now. Anyway, and they were like big, the big round hat.
Oh wow.
And they were blue. And she said, "Now I don't want you to bend these hats, trying to adjust it to your liking, because I paid too much money for these hats."
Okay.
I think she said they were like $50 a piece, and
Back
nowadays
then, that was
the same. Those same hats today would be probably about $300 or $400. Easy
for a hat. Yeah. That's
and
great.
I took it upon myself to bend my hat.
You did not follow directions.
I did not follow Oh, Miss Bailey, honey, she was something else. You could not wear the same perfume. You could not wear a different perfume other than what she wore.
Oh.
That's a fact.
Okay.
I had to go and buy Réplique by Jean Revillon. Réplique cologne. I couldn't afford the perfume. I got the toilet water.
You got the
cologne. And
Eau de toilette.
Eau de toilette. Eau de toilette.
Okay.
And so she said, "I don't want anybody wearing Shalimar or Chanel or any. If you're going to wear any scent whatsoever, it's got to be Réplique. I don't want a confusion of different scents backstage." Duh.
That's funny.
Duh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a hilarious story.
So,
well, we've got a clip.
and you have to wear the same color. You have to wear the same color pancake makeup that she wore, regardless of your complexion.
Okay. Well, maybe she liked the fact that we're wearing the same color dress today.
Hello.
I like it.
This is all right.
I'm enjoying it. But we have a clip, a little short snippet of Freda doing her thing on stage. Let's check it out.
Now, nominated in the category of Best Rhythm and Blues Performance by a Female is Miss Freda Payne.
That's just a little snippet. I'm just saying, we went way back on that
Honey,
one, right?
you went way back into the archives. I'm like, oh,
that hairstyle.
That was at Madison's, and the hair, the big hair.
The big hair.
That was at Madison Square Garden in New York. Yeah.
Oh, you look beautiful. I mean, you look like you could still put on the same dress and walk down those stairs and do it.
Well, I tried.
You know? How do you stay in such great shape? I mean, you just...
I've done yoga for, I started doing yoga back in 1973 with, I went to Bikram, the hot yoga. It wasn't that hot in the beginning, but it started getting warmer and warmer and
here
warmer.
you are right here doing a pose.
Hello.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
So you keep up with your yoga. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. And
that's all you got is that one pose?
I got one pose. I think it's a good pose.
It's okay.
That's the pose that was sent to us. No.
Okay.
But you look good. So you do a lot of yoga.
Yeah, I belong to Equinox, and I go to Equinox, and they have yoga classes. So, and my son, Gregory, he says, Mom, you got to do more than just yoga now because you're you're a senior citizen. You know, he always calls me, I'm elderly.
He says it.
And he says, you need to do weights. You know, because as you get older, you start getting bone loss.
Right, you have to keep the muscle tone.
And the muscle tone. So he said, after class, you got to go in the gym and work out on the weights. I said, Gregory, I am tired after that yoga class.
The hot yoga will wear you out.
That's
great that your son helps you do that. Now I know Gregory very well too. He and my brother grew up going to school in Beverly
Billy,
Hills.
I remember.
You lived in Beverly Hills for many years.
Yeah.
You were a long time. Raised your son Gregory here.
Yeah, and they were buddies.
They were buddies.
Yeah.
Went to Beverly Hills High School together and all. Beverly Vista as well.
Beverly Vista and then Beverly Hills High.
Yeah. So how was that time for you? You know, having your experiences here. Anything stand out about being in the city?
Well,
that you like to do, restaurants you like to go to.
Oh wow. Well, nowadays the restaurants change so rapidly all the time. I mean the ones that you kind of like used to go to frequent all the time, like in the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah, it's
they've
changed
changed
a lot.
Hands. They've been renovated.
What was your favorite back in the day?
La Dome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I also I loved La Dome, and oh my God, there were some other restaurants.
Chasen's was that? But
Chasen's.
Chasen's was right outside the city, and then their Spago is still here.
It's Bristol Farms now.
It is.
Yeah, because Chasen's used to. I remember going to Chasen's not only just for the restaurant, but they used to. They had like a small banquet room, and I used to go there. That's where I met John Lennon.
Okay.
My friend Michael Wiener, by the way, I got to show you this.
Okay.
It's because of him that I recorded.
Freda Payne live in concert.
Because of him, I did this back in 1993 downtown at the Los Angeles Theater Center. And Michael, I invited he and his wife, Deborah Raffin, and they came. And the first thing he said to me after I said, "Could you come to see the show?" He said, "Yes, I will, and I want to record it." And he didn't even know whether it was good or not.
And this dress, I mean, that pose and that dress, goodness, I think we got a good shot of that.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and then this is, speaking of, since I brought it, might as well.
Show your CDs. You're still doing music.
This is the latest, my latest
beautiful
recording.
picture.
And this is really all jazz. This is strictly jazz.
All jazz music.
With big band and strings.
Ooh.
On the Mack Avenue label. So I'm very proud of this. Yeah.
And you do an Ella Fitzgerald tribute show.
I do.
You've been traveling doing that many places, right?
Many performing arts centers and jazz clubs.
Okay.
And also I've had the opportunity where I've performed theatrically on stage Ella Fitzgerald. Like it's the play is called Ella Fitzgerald, First Lady of Song. 2004, I starred in it at a theater called Crossroads in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Crossroads is a regional theater that also has been awarded. They won one year. They won for Best Regional Theater from they got a Tony Award for that.
Yeah.
And so I starred in that show, and then I did it again. The book is by Lee Summers.
Okay.
Maurice Hines. Maurice Hines is the one that called me up and said, "Freda, I'm directing it." And there's another theater now in 2014. It's called Metro Stage in Alexandria, Virginia, and they want to put on. They're going to produce and put on Ella, and I would love for you to do it again.
Wow. Oh, how nice!
And so I did it again in Alexandria, Virginia, at Metro Stage, and that was in 2014. And I got a rave review in the Washington Post.
Very nice.
Yeah,
That's
a rave
great
review in the Washington Post.
So what is the show, just quickly, to let our viewers know so when they can try to see the show? What is it like? How long is it, and what do you do, a tribute?
It's like about a two hour, and what it is, there are other actors. There's an actor playing the role of Norman Granz. There's an actress playing young Ella, and also Ella had a half-sister by the name of Frances.
Okay.
She plays Frances. And then there's another actress who does the role of Georgiana, who was Ella's cousin, but she traveled with Ella as her assistant and dresser and all that.
So you feel like you can have a peek back in the life of Ella Fitzgerald, and then here you are singing the songs, I'm sure very much in Ella style.
I have to wear a fat suit.
Okay.
I wear a fat suit, which I put on, and when I'm getting dressed, it's almost like it's a fat suit.
Because you want to, because she was a little thicker, and so you want to give that look, right?
She was heavier.
That's great.
And also I change, different hairstyles. I change wigs.
You channel her totally.
Yeah,
I
love
do that.
You
I've got to see the show. I've been hearing about it, and when is it coming to L.A.?
I don't think it's scheduled to be in L.A. just yet, but eventually it will. But I am doing it at a theater in Wilmington, Delaware, next year, 2018.
Okay.
And it's called the Delaware Theater. If you go to their website, and it's already posted, and it's already selling tickets. So
people there can go. Well, everyone should go.
Yeah, it's already selling tickets.
I think we should bring you to the Wallace Annenberg Theater here in Beverly Hills.
That would be great.
Yeah,
I would love to do it here.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that happening. We have one more clip, because your two hits that people know, and you had others, of course, but the biggest hits were Band of Gold,
right,
and Bring the Boys Home. And in this age of war and all, that song back then was so meaningful, back in like 1971, I think it was.
It was 1971, because Band of Gold came out in 1970, and then Bring the Boys Home followed it a year later,
right,
and became a gold record.
Both of them were gold. So you had two gold records.
Two gold records.
Where are they now? Where are those gold records?
In my house.
Okay.
On my wall.
You got them up. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
What an accomplishment to have those. And those are basically back to back.
Yeah, it was
back-to-back gold records.
Yeah, I wish if I'd stayed longer with Invictus, I probably would have gotten another one. But what can I say?
Yeah. Well, let's check you out singing a little bit of Band of Gold.
Okay.
Beautiful. I said snippets were given, but that was beautiful. Look how graceful you are coming down the stairs.
Oh, honey,
how do you do that in those heels?
That was at the O2 Arena in London, and one night I kind of tripped, and so that's why one of the background
he grabbed
singers,
your arm.
He grabbed my
He's like, not tonight. You
not
will not
tonight.
be falling tonight.
I'm gonna hold you. I got you.
Yeah, he was holding you tight too.
Yeah.
I noticed that. I thought that was part of the act, have the men take you down.
There's always a reason for everything.
It worked, and now we know a little behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That song just makes you want to get up and dance. It really does, and you never get tired of performing it.
No, and you know what's so funny? I never really knew that was going to be a hit. And when I was recording all those songs, like Cherish What Is Dear to You, You Brought the Joy, all these other songs, I never thought I never knew. I thought they were all good. I said, because I worked hard on all of them.
Right.
And I never knew it was going to become the iconic hit that it became.
Yeah.
And people still, like when I go to the UK and I work in England, it was even bigger over there than it was here.
They love you. I'm sure when you go there, they're just
surrounding
you. You're going next year to England.
I'm going to be touring next year in the UK. Yeah.
Okay. Well, fans, get ready out there because they are very loyal fans.
They're
you know?
loyal.
They love Motown music. They
Love
love soul
Motown.
music. All that.
Yeah, they
so,
love Motown.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And our families are so close all these years
I
from
know.
the music. My mother went to high school with you, right? Was my
Yeah,
mother in
yeah,
high school with you?
Iris went to high
Just
school.
thought
She
of
was
that.
actually in classes with Sherry.
With your sister.
With
Okay.
Sherry, because Sherry, no, so she was like about a year or a year and a half behind me.
Okay.
I'm a little,
You're just a
little
tad.
older.
She'll be happy to hear that because if I'm exposing her and she's older, I'd get in trouble.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we're sisters. When
Yeah,
you're
right,
out with
right,
your
yeah,
mom,
exactly.
people say, okay, just let them think we're sisters.
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, goodness, you've seen me since I was a little teeny thing. It's
Oh,
great to be
yeah.
here with you talking about your
Yes.
career. It's just so special for me.
And your dad, he was such a talented man. And a great artist as well.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
glad
John.
that you were able to, get to know him back in the day through work and music.
Yeah, everybody knew everybody.
It was
you
a
know.
family, a big
Yeah,
family.
especially the Detroiters.
Yeah, and everyone's about the same age. They started so young. Like you said, you started music at 7, 16, 14 probably started.
14,
14 playing the
13,
piano and
then 14.
and working. So, yeah.
And then 15.
And touring with these greats, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Great career.
It's been a good ride so far, and I know that I probably don't work as consistently as I used to, but things happen. You never know when that phone's gonna ring.
It rings a lot for you because I've been to a lot of your shows, Catalina Bar and Grill, Vibrato. You do a lot of shows locally.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you're really good in that lounge atmosphere.
Yeah.
That really
Yeah.
close, intimate setting. You really
Yeah, the
do
cabaret.
well. The cabaret style.
It's really nice.
Yeah, you really own that. You do. You totally own that. So I thoroughly enjoy every show I go to of yours.
Oh,
I see
thank
them over
you.
and over and over again.
Thank you, Karla.
I'm serious. I am not playing. You really
I remember
do.
the night it was my birthday. Was it like a couple of years ago? And
Quincy Jones was there.
And Quincy was there, and he came up on stage.
Yes.
And we were like, he
so
was all
nice.
smoochy.
He was. He was. He
Yeah,
was so
I
proud
worked
of you.
with him. I worked with him
With
back in the
Quincy
day.
Jones, you did.
Yeah, I worked with Quincy. I worked with his big band, and he booked me to work with him at the Apollo, and it was the Quincy Jones Orchestra, and it was Billy Eckstine was the headliner, and Red Fox was the comedian.
Oh, wow.
And Honey Coles and Charlie Atkins were the tap dance duo.
The best back
and
then.
I was the singer.
That
the,
is a
the girl
great
singer.
group. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Whew. That's great.
So-
Yeah, Quincy's great. He knows how to bring the right people all together.
Oh, he is.
Goodness, that's great.
He touches anything he touches. It's just like
It turns to gold.
Turns to gold. That's
Turns
what they
to gold.
Say.
Oh, well, this has been so great. And everybody should follow Freda Payne, please, on her social media. She's very engaged there and has her team keeping her active because she's so active. So follow all the things she's doing and catch that Ella Fitzgerald show when it comes this way for sure.
Yeah, or go to Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay.
The opening is April the 18th.
Okay.
Go to the website. It's the Delaware Theater in Wilmington, Delaware.
So, yeah,
Go to
search
the
that
website.
and they'll find you.
Yeah.
It'll be worth their time.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. I've so loved having you. This has been so sweet. My blue sister today.
I know.
All right. Thank you again, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in to Beverly Hills View, and we'll see you next time. I'm Karla Gordy Bristol.